You're listening to the Kirkintilloch Herald, a Q and Review recording service podcast, brought to you by our team of volunteers currently recording from their homes across Scotland. Whether you're listening via the BWBF online players, the telephone app, or our brand new Alexa skill, please phone us on 0141 772 3976 to feedback on what you want us to provide and improve upon. Please also join your family and friends in being our audio ambassadors and share our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram all at Q and Review. That's at symbol CUEANDREVIEW.
This week's Kirkintilloch Herald, published on Wednesday, the 2nd of November 2022. Councillor and wife are charged. A former joint leader of East Dunbartonshire Council and current councillor in the Bearsden South Ward have been charged with fraud. Conservative councillor Andrew Paulson, along with his wife, Eileen Paulson, a Liberal Democrat councillor in Milngavie, were both arrested and charged with alleged offences under the Representation of the People Act 1983. The alleged offences relate to Paulson and his wife allegedly claiming to live in the East Dunbartonshire Council area when it's believed they actually lived in the Mount Vernon area of the East End of Glasgow. A spokesperson for Police Scotland said, "A 50-year-old man and a 38-year-old woman have been arrested and charged in connection with the Representation of the People Act 1983 on Thursday, October the 6th. They are due to appear in court at a later date." Paulson co-led the council with Lib Dem councillor Vaughan Moody from 2018 to 2022. Andrew Paulson was suspended by the party in June following his arrest on a separate matter when he was accused of being involved in a romance fraud. In a civil action, court papers lodged by a female claim that Mr Paulson persuaded her to let him manage her finances and used her money to buy property for himself. She alleges that he abused her trust and exercised undue influence over her. He had been arrested in June but was released pending further inquiries before being re-arrested in August. It is not believed that a court date has yet been set for that matter. And that story was read today by Ian. This Week in History, as published on Wednesday, the 2nd of November 2022. November the 2nd, 1903, the Daily Mirror was first published in Britain, devised as a daily paper for women. On this day last year, Ed Sheeran held on to the top spot in a list of the richest celebrities aged 30 and under in the UK and Ireland. November the 3rd, 1975, the Queen opened the North Sea Pipeline, the first underwater, bringing 400,000 barrels ashore each day at Grangemouth Refinery on the Firth of Forth. November the 4th, 1979, Iranian students stormed the US Embassy in Tehran and held more than 60 people hostage. On this day last year, the highly anticipated John Lewis Christmas advert was unveiled, starring a young alien experiencing her first Christmas. November the 5th, 1990, Rabbi Meir Kahan, founder of the far-right Kach movement, was shot dead after a speech at a New York City hotel. On this day last year, ABBA released Voyage, their first studio album in nearly 40 years. November the 6th, 1935, the RAF's first monoplane fighter, the Hawker Hurricane, made its maiden flight. On this day last year, tens of thousands of protesters took to the streets of the UK, demanding stronger climate action from leaders in the midst of the COP26 talks. November the 7th, 1935, Australian pilot Sir Charles Kingsford Smith flew over Calcutta on a flight from England and was never seen again. Legal aid is delayed. Thousands of East Dunbartonshire's most deprived families could face the prospect of defending themselves in court thanks to a chronic shortage of civil legal aid firms. New analysis by the Law Society of Scotland shows that the 50 most deprived communities in East Dunbartonshire, resident around 40,619 people, share local access to just 3 civil legal aid firms. Legal aid is a critical service affecting a range of life-altering situations and is the only way Scotland's poorest families can secure legal support. Often, it is during some of life's tougher moments that people will find themselves in need of legal aid support. Legal aid for civil court actions is only offered to people with a disposable income of less than £293 per month. Above that amount, there is a cost to be paid, which can be up to full repayment of the legal aid cost. The most common civil court cases including dealing with divorce and child contact or custody, adoption, immigration and asylum cases, and deportation. They also routinely involve securing compensation for medical negligence, securing social welfare payments, and other financial situations. This new analysis highlights the extent to which this crisis could impact on East Dunbartonshire's most deprived. The firm is local to 579 people, leaving a staggering 40,040 people in those areas without local support. Even in the areas with local access, the sheer demand so heavily outstrips supply that those with local access to firms may still not successfully secure legal aid. This creates a significant delay to court proceedings and to families seeking resolutions in very difficult moments. Now, high-profile social commentator, activist, and award-winning author Darren Loki McGarvey has said, "The absurdity of that proposition, combined with the inequalities within the justice, healthcare and education systems, is exactly why I am supporting the Law Society of Scotland to highlight the real issues that real people in East Dunbartonshire face. In a nation that prides itself on progressive social values, these figures should act as a stark warning. Those who are already most disadvantaged are having their last line of defence pulled away from them."
Calls for a general election. Commenting on the resignation of Prime Minister Liz Truss, Katie Clark, Scottish Labour MSP for West Scotland, said, "It is right that Liz Truss has resigned. Her leadership has been disastrous for the country, not just her party. As millions struggled to pay the bills, she sought to redistribute wealth from the poorest to the richest, with devastating results for the wider economy. This crisis of government cannot be resolved by the Tories simply holding yet another leadership election. Liz Truss was able to pursue such a damaging prospectus despite her only electoral mandate coming from a small Conservative Party membership far removed from public opinion. The truth is the entire government has to go. Over 12 years the Tories have trashed the economy. We need a general election now." Transport survey needs your input. Local politicians are urging East Dunbartonshire residents, businesses and commuters to share their views on local bus services following the takeover of First Bus Services by the McGills Group. In a recent meeting with CEO Ralph Roberts, Alan Smith MP and Evelyn Tweed MSP heard more about the company's plans across the Stirling bus network. Both elected representatives are keen to hear more about bus travel locally, including recurring issues with routes or services, to inform future discussions with McGills and key stakeholders in Stirling's public transport. Alan Smith MP said, "Many will agree that bus travel has struggled in recent years and new management represents an opportunity to face challenges and opportunities afresh. I want to see a resourced, well-used and connected bus network to meet Stirling's travel needs, and I'm confident with the right partnership working and community engagement we can see that developed. I urge respondents to give feedback and allow Evelyn and I to find out more about the current situation." Evelyn Tweed MSP said, "Public transport plays an important role in reducing climate emissions and congestion on our roads. A fresh approach with McGills is a positive point, and from our recent meeting it sounds like we are turning a corner. Any feedback shared will help inform us of local transport needs as well as any issues or opportunities for development. The survey is here, http://bitly.ws/VC3T. Local planning applications. East Dunbartonshire Council has received some planning applications seeking permission to alter houses in Lenzie. Catherine Craig has proposed demolishing a bungalow in Boghead Road so it can be replaced with a new 1.5-storey dwelling. The planning application describes the site as having an area of 578 square metres and the development would see a third parking space created. No comments on this application have been published at the time of writing, and documentation can be viewed on the Council's website using the reference number TP/ED/22/0680. Helen McLaughlin has applied for permission to carry out a like-for-like replacement for roofing tiles and fascia at her address in Victoria Road, as this property is located within a conservation area. The application states that these charges would be in keeping with neighbourhood properties and can be found using the reference TP/ED/22/0672. No comments have been published on the Council website in relation to this proposal. Meanwhile, another resident of Victoria Road, Gordon Campbell, has requested Council approval to install solar panels at the property. This application concerns 12 black 400-watt panels on the front of the roof, with a further 11 to be mounted on the rear elevation. Each panel is approximately 1,750mm by 1,130mm by 30mm. This application has been assigned with the reference number TP/ED/22/0461. Again, no comments have been published at the time of writing. COVID deaths. There were no more coronavirus deaths recorded over the latest weekly period in East Dunbartonshire. The latest figures from the UK coronavirus dashboard show a total of 382 people had died in the area by October the 9th, Sunday, which was unchanged from the week previously. Public Health Scotland recently stopped reporting deaths for anyone who had died within 28 days of a positive result for COVID-19. Instead, the weekly figures now include anyone whose death certificate registered in the week ending on a Sunday mentions COVID-19 as one of the causes of death, but not necessarily the main cause of death. Deaths in Scotland are recorded by registration date and are allocated to the deceased's usual area of residence, regardless of whether the death occurred elsewhere.
Santa is resident at Dobies. Dobies is welcoming families in East Dunbartonshire to its Santa's Grotto experience. This year, kids are invited to enjoy a visit to the grotto, where it will be love at first sight, with elves taking visitors through a magical woodland, spotting reindeer, rabbits and more along the way. Children will become Santa's little helpers, participating during their visit. After lending a helping hand, children will then get to meet Santa himself and receive a special gift. Families can opt in to purchase a picture of their child with Santa. Santa's Grotto will be available in Mulgai from the 24th of November. Advance booking at www.dobies.com/events. Good news for East Dunbartonshire Council. Auditors have approved East Dunbartonshire Council's internal financing auditing procedures, agreeing that they are accurately reflect its current standing. Fiona Mitchell-Knight, an audit director from Audit Scotland, reported to the Council's Audit and Risk Management Committee on her independent assessment of the financial statements, having investigated them for irregularities such as evidence of fraud. In her report she wrote, "I have concluded that the use of the growing concern basis of accounting in the preparation of the financial statements is appropriate. Based on the work I have performed, I have not identified any material uncertainties relating to events or conditions that, individually or collectively, may cast significant doubt on the ability of the Council and its group to continue to adopt the going concern basis of accounting for a period of at least 12 months from when the financial statements are authorised for issue." She added, "That is really good news and not something that should be taken for granted," saying this should give the committee councillors confidence in approving the annual accounts. It was also noted that there were no unadjusted misstatements on the accounts, having been identified by Audit Scotland, with any problems that the Council had already addressed. The main judgments presented in the independent audit of the annual accounts for 2021-2022 were: the annual accounts of East Dunbartonshire Council give a true and fair view of its financial position for the year ended 31st of March 2022. Our audit opinions on the annual accounts of the Council its group, and the two Section 106 charities administered by the Council are unmodified. The impact of the COVID-19 pandemic led to inevitable delays in the auditing timetable for the Council's 2021-22 annual accounts. Submission of the audited annual accounts is in line with revised government timescales and is agreed with Council officers. The financial management of the Council was deemed effective, and it was noted that overall services had been delivered within budget, with an underspend of £13 million reported. Biodiversity Bonanza. It's a biodiversity bonanza for East Dunbartonshire, following the announcement of funding for a host of environmental projects. The wildlife of East Dunbartonshire will be receiving a big boost in the very near future, thanks to the Council being awarded £132,000 from the Scottish Government Nature Restoration Fund. Biodiversity restoration projects within and around all the main East Dunbartonshire towns and villages will be run by the Streetsune Technical Support Team. The projects will be focusing on halting the decline of pollinators and increasing habitat for amphibians, mammals and birds at risk by making more space for native flower-rich habitats and grassland, streams, extended hedges and field margins, native trees and ponds. The first project undertaken will be wetland meadow enhancement through the planting of wildflowers such as cowslip, ragged robin and purple loosestrife, and introduction of yellow rattle into the annual cut and lift areas of Mains Park in Milngavie, and the local community are being asked to get involved. Two community planning events involving East Dunbartonshire's countryside rangers will take place on Saturday the 29th of October from 11am to 12pm and 1pm to 2pm. To register your interest, contact Mugduck Countryside Rescue Service on mugduckrangers@eastdunbarton.gov.uk. Please dress appropriately for the weather conditions. Councillor Paul Ferretti, convener of the East Dunbartonshire Council's Place, Neighbourhood and Corporate Assets Committee, said, "Maintaining local biodiversity is fundamental for everyone living, working and enjoying the wonderful countryside and nature of East Dunbartonshire. A wealth of projects will be getting underway in the coming months, including street tree planting to enhance tree corridors in our urban areas, meadow creation to provide rich areas rich in pollinating plants and bulb planting to increase biodiversity. We need to act urgently and decisively to help tackle the climate emergency, and the hope is that these projects will create safe places for nature to recover in East Dunbartonshire." Celtic FC donates £400,000. Celtic FC Foundation, the charitable arm of Celtic Football Club, has announced a £400,000 contribution to aid those in field crisis across Scotland. Amid the cost of living crisis, Celtic FC Foundation, CFCF, have moved to help support with those most disadvantaged within our communities struggling to pay for domestic fuel. CFCF have fully funded this initiative and will assign fuel vouchers worth £49 to around 6,200 households, helping approximately 17,000 individuals. Working in partnership with the Fuel Bank Foundation, the UK's only charity focused on specifically supporting people who are facing a fuel crisis, CFCF's investment should help alleviate the pressure for thousands of households in the coming months as winter approaches. The Foundation staff at Celtic Park will be the initial point of contact for those seeking help. An additional 500 individuals will receive a winter warmer self-care pack to the value of £100. Shining a spotlight on racism campaign. Eastern Dunbartonshire's best known buildings were lit up red in support of the charity Show Racism the Red Card. The council was back to anti-racism Wear Red Day last Friday, October the 21st, by illuminating the community hubs in Bearsden, Bishopbriggs and Kirkintilloch, and Milngavie Town Hall with red lighting to show their support for the initiative. Council employees were also encouraged to wear something red on that day. Council leader Gordon Lowe said, "East Dunbartonshire continues to support Show Racism the Red Card, an important campaign that looks at addressing the issue of racism still prevalent in our society. We hope that our residents, schools and employees will join us again this year to support this vital campaign. We can all work to create a better future for everyone by spreading the word and, if possible, by making a donation to support the charity's work. All donations go directly to combating racism in society through education schemes. Show Racism the Red Card was founded 26 years ago with a donation from Shaka Hislop, the former Newcastle United goalkeeper. In 1990, Shaka faced racist abuse while simply filling his car with petrol. However, after realising who he was, the people shouting abuse proceeded to ask for his autograph. This experience led Shaka to realise he could use his position as both a role model and footballer to make a change through educating people about racism and the various forms it can take in society and within our communities. The charity is now the UK's leading educational charity of its type, providing educational workshops, training sessions, multimedia packages, and a whole host of other resources, all with the purpose of tackling racism in society. To donate to Show Racism the Red Card, text RED to 07470 to donate £1, text RED5 to donate £5, text RED10 to donate £10, and RED20 to donate £20. Text costs a standard network rate set by your mobile provider, plus a donation amount of your choice. For more racism, visit the Show Racism the Red Card website, www.theredcard.org.
Robbery concerns. Concerns are mounting within the community following a woman being robbed in broad daylight. Police Scotland said that an investigation is now underway into the circumstances of the matter. Officers initially received the call around 3 p.m. on Monday, October the 24th, to a report of a woman having been robbed in a lane next to Kirkintilloch Road in Bishopbriggs. The incident took place around 2:40. Officers said an investigation into what happened is still at an early stage. A Police Scotland spokesperson said, around 3 p.m. on Monday, October the 24th, police were called to a report of a 39-year-old woman robbed around 20 minutes earlier in a lane next to Kirkintilloch Road, Bishopbriggs. Inquiries are at an early stage to establish more information surrounding this incident.
Shape new policies. People and businesses are being given the chance to help shape future licensing policy locally. East Dunbartonshire Licensing Board is carrying out initial informal engagement between now and January 2023 to gather a range of views. Feedback will be used to inform a new statement of licensing policy, which the board will use as a basis for decisions to regulate the sale of alcohol in local communities. Visit www.eastdunbartonshire.gov.uk/licensing-policy-2022 to get involved. Topics for potential consideration include licensing hours, descriptions of premises, conditions for alcohol delivery, over-provision, and the supplementary statement of licensing policy published last year. Following the drafting of a new statement of licensing policy, it is envisaged a formal consultation will be carried out in the summer of 2023, as required by the Licensing Scotland Act 2005. Councillor Stuart MacDonald, convener of East Dunbartonshire Licensing Board, said, I would invite members of the public, businesses, groups and organisations to have their say on licensing policy via this initial and informal engagement. All views will help to guide how the board deals with future licensing applications to the council. We hope to consult on the draft of this statement of licensing policy next summer, so it's important we receive a range of views to help inform that process. All consultation responses should be submitted by the 9th of January 2023 by email to liquor.licensing@eastdunbartonshire.gov.uk or in writing to the Clerk of the Licensing Board, East Dunbartonshire Council, 12 Strathkelvin Place, Kirkintilloch, G66 1TJ.
New telecoms mast Lenzie. A telecoms company has applied for prior planning approval in relation to a new 25-metre mast in Lenzie. The site of the mast used to coordinate emergency services is in Woodley Road, and the planning request has been made by Airwave Solutions, citing its status as an operator in accordance with the Electronic Communication Code. A supporting statement reads, Airwave Solutions Limited currently operate the UK-wide emergency services network and will continue until the expiry date of their operating licence. The existing tower, which is on a site with a long-established telecommunications use, is integral to their network and will remain so for several years to come. Due to the redevelopment of the site by Aldi supermarkets, the tower is being relocated to the new position illustrated on this application. The site is located where Aldi intends to build a new supermarket. Further info can be viewed using the reference TP/ED/22/0695.
Bonfire night advice. Follow bonfire safety rules. As the 5th of November draws closer, community safety partners in East Dunbartonshire are urging people to keep safe this bonfire night. The community partners, East Dunbartonshire Council, Police Scotland and Scottish Fire and Rescue Service, are working together again this year to ensure the night runs safely. This joined-up approach aims to ensure safety by reducing disorder, minimising bonfires being built in dangerous locations causing harm, and decreasing levels of irresponsibility with fireworks. The community partners have visited schools to educate young people on the dangers of the misuse of fireworks, explaining to them how quickly fire can spread, and giving tips on how to stay safe. Councillor Paul Ferretti, convener of Place, Neighbourhood and Corporate Assets, said, "Fireworks are an exciting and fun display for many, but it's important to remember that they can be extremely unsafe and should be used with caution. Therefore, attending an organised display is the safest way to enjoy bonfire night. We would like to remind everyone of the dangers of fireworks and bonfires that are not used correctly or that are left unattended pose. They are a huge threat to the safety of everyone. It's also essential that we understand that the lead up to bonfire night and the night itself can be unnerving and stressful for some residents. This is why our community wardens will be policing within Police Scotland and Scottish Fire and Rescue Service to respond to any reports of antisocial behaviour through the incorrect use of fireworks and illicit bonfires. Furthermore, our Trading Standards officers will be inspecting all premises that are licensed to sell fireworks. We should also be mindful of animals during this time and the anxiety fireworks can cause them. Please show consideration towards pets and animals during the festivities, keep safe and enjoy this bonfire night sensibly." Local Senior Officer, LSO, Scottish Fire and Rescue Service, Joe Mackay, said, "Bonfire night is one of the busiest times of the year for our crews. Our advice to attend organised events wherever possible, as this is the safest option. Last year, firefighters responded to more than 370 bonfires across the country, and during an 8-hour period on 5th of November, and in the weeks leading up from bonfire night, from 8th of October onwards, crews attended more than 880 deliberate secondary fires, including bin fires and grass fires. We have a zero-tolerance approach to deliberate fire setting, which can put properties and lives at risk." Community Inspector Alan Ferris added, "We have been working closely with key partners on our plans to keep communications across East Dunbartonshire safe from antisocial behaviour and fireworks-related disorder on the run-up and throughout bonfire night. In addition to local policing resources, we will once again be supported by national and specialist colleagues as part of Police Scotland's Operation Moonbeam. School link officers have been delivering inputs and engaging with young people to highlight the very real dangers and consequences of being involved in criminality around fireworks. We would ask that parents and guardians assist us by having frank conversations with young people in their care about these risks and what actions they could face if caught by police. It is now a criminal offence to purchase fireworks for anyone under the age of 18, and you can face a £5,000 fine, 6 months in prison, or both. Please don't risk it. A new aggravator will also be added to the charges brought against those who attack emergency service workers, and this highlights how serious any such offences are treated. Please help us make this bonfire night period as safe and enjoyable as possible for all members of our communities. Residents are reminded that it is against the law to light a fire in a public place if it endangers any other person or property or gives them reasonable cause for alarm or annoyance. Possess fireworks if you are under 18 years old. Fail to comply with the restrictions on the times that fireworks can be used by the general public. Cause unnecessary suffering to animals. Light fireworks before 6 p.m. and after 11 p.m. This extends to midnight on the 5th of November. If you are planning to use fireworks this year, please follow advice from the Royal Society for the Prevention of Accidents and plan your night correctly. You can find out more information here, www.rospa.com/home-safety advice, /fireworks-safety. Please keep in mind, to report any antisocial behaviour or unauthorised fireworks sellers, call Police Scotland on the non-emergency 101 line or 999 in an emergency. Crime Stoppers can be called anonymously on 0800 555 111 or contacted through their website at www.crimestoppers-uk.org. You can find out more information on how to keep animals safe and secure around fireworks at a dedicated website from the Scottish SPCA at www.scottishspca.org/news/fireworks-advice. For more on how to stay safe this bonfire night by visiting Scottish Fire and Rescue's website at www.firescotland.gov.uk. Royal College of Nursing ballot. Responding to the latest NHSP offer from Scottish Government, Royal College of Nursing Scotland Director Colin Pullman said, "Yet again the Scottish Government has failed to listen to our members' concerns for the safety of their patients. They have failed to recognise the safety critical role of all nursing staff and their essential contribution to our NHS and our nation's health. Under this proposal, nurses continue to face a real terms pay cut. This is even more stark with inflation reaching a 40-year high. Many are making difficult decisions about heating their homes, feed their families, and travel to work, while carrying the burden of being unable to do the best for their patients due to severe staff shortages. Our ballot for strike action continues. Members are more determined to have their voices heard." Council report shows scheme is well received. An evaluation of the enhanced programme of holiday activities, childcare and food for low-income families in East Dunbartonshire during the school year 2021 to 2022 found the provision was well received by children and young people and their parents and carers. Additional funding from the Scottish Government augmented existing holiday provision delivered within the primary, secondary and additional sports needs (ASN) sectors in East Dunbartonshire. During the 2021-22 primary school snack and play sessions were delivered from the 6 hub schools based in Kirkintilloch, Lennoxtown, Bishopbriggs, Milngavie and Bearsden during the summer, Easter and October week holidays. Similarly, Merkland Play Scheme operated during the summer, Easter and October week holidays, and Campty View Play Scheme ran for 3 weeks during the summer. Activities were provided by the following agencies: Operation Play Outdoors, Independent Dance, Creative Sparks, EDLC Trust, Little Lotus Yoga, Summer Reading. For secondary pupils, the Summer of Fun provided young people from low-income families with free leisure activities within EDLC leisure centres. All young people were able to attend East Dunbartonshire Council Youth Services drop-in sessions, where they could take part in activities from DJ workshops and garden projects to orienteering and tubing. Youth Services also partnered with the Merkland School to deliver a summer programme specifically for young people with additional support needs. Convener of Education, Councillor Linda Williamson, said, "The evaluation of the holiday childcare, activities and food provision delivered in East Dunbartonshire showed that the increased number of people attended sessions and the feedback from families on their experiences of the provision was very positive." Councillor Williamson added, "I would like to thank all the families that contributed to the evaluation and our hardworking staff in education, facilities management, the EDLC Trust and Transport Services for ensuring low-income families in East Dunbartonshire are supported during the holiday periods, particularly in the current financial climate." Fair Bus Campaign. Disability campaigners from East Dunbartonshire were among those to deliver a petition to Downing Street demanding fairer access to bus travel. Sandy Taylor from Kirkintilloch, Scotland Chairman of the UK National Federation of the Blind, joined representatives from other organisations to present the petition, which has been signed by more than 160 groups. Sandy said, We are calling for access to buses directly from the pavement edge, as we have done for many years. However, recent changes have often required us to cross a two-way cycle lane in order to board the bus. This makes it impossible for the blind, visually impaired and many other disabled and elderly people to access bus travel. Member of Parliament for East Dunbartonshire, Amy Callaghan, joined the campaigners to show her support. MSP applauds new refreshed baby box. Strathkelvin and Bearsden SNP MSP Rona Mackay has welcomed the news that Scotland's baby box, 58,044 of which have already been delivered across the Greater Glasgow and Clyde Health Board area, is receiving a makeover for its 5th birthday. The Scottish Government introduced the new baby boxes scheme in 2017, entitling every newborn in Scotland to a box containing essential items intended to make sure that every child has the best possible start in life. Based on the latest figures for number of baby boxes given out by health boards, 235,622 boxes have been distributed to parents across Scotland since the start of the project. Commenting, Ms Mackay said, "I am delighted that Scotland's much cherished baby box has been given a French makeover just in time for its 5th anniversary. With updated clothing designs, the refreshed baby box now includes a baby-friendly toothbrush to promote oral health from the very beginning of a baby's life. The arrival of a new baby is a wonderful and joyous moment for every family in East Dunbartonshire, but, as every new parent no doubt appreciates, the cost of welcoming a new addition to the family can be significant, and particularly when household budgets are under increasing pressure with the cost of living crisis. Regardless of the circumstances of new mums and dads, receiving a baby box is a celebration of their new arrivals, and the essential items needed for the first 6 months of their child's life really is a very welcome gift. And the addition of a toothbrush to the baby box for the first time will hopefully encourage good dental health from the beginning and all the way through its life. The baby box is one of many transformative actions the SNP is taking to make a real difference to children and families on low incomes, like the game-changing Scottish Child Payment, which will soon be £25 per week per child. While the SNP government continues to deliver bold policies in government for a fairer Scotland, with the limited powers at its disposal, it is only with the full powers of independence that we can properly build a better future that works for everyone. First Minister and Prime Minister chat. Scotland's First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, has had a chat with the new PM, Rishi Sunak. The Prime Minister congratulated him on his appointment and wished him well. She expressed her hope that there would be a constructive working relationship. She made clear that the Scottish Government would do everything possible to establish such a constructive relationship, but stressed it must be built on mutual respect. The First Minister also expressed the strong view that the UK Government should address the pressure being felt by people and businesses as a result of inflation and economic pressures, and should not exacerbate that with a further wave of austerity. The FM made clear her intention to honour the mandate from the people of Scotland at the last election.
Family announcements. Deaths. Bruce, James. Peacefully at Erskine Park Care Home on Saturday, October 22nd, 2022. James, beloved husband of Anne, much loved dad of Scott, Lindsay and Lorna, and a loving granddad to his grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Funeral service to take place at Glasgow Crematorium, Mary Hill, on Thursday, November 3rd, 2022, arriving at 12:45 p.m. No flowers, please. Holmes, Ron. Peacefully at home on October 24th, 2022. A devoted husband of the late Janet, a much-loved dad of Andrew, Robert, Alan, and father-in-law of Aileen and Penny. An adored papa of Ross, Heather, and Leon. Funeral service will take place on Friday, November 4th, 2022, at the Co-op Funeral Care, Kirkintilloch, for 9:30 a.m. Thereafter to Daldowie Crematorium for 10:30 a.m. Family flowers only. Donations, if desired, to Poppy, Scotland. McIntyre, Joyce. Suddenly at Glasgow Royal Infirmary on Friday, October 21st, 2022. Joyce, beloved wife of the late James, much loved mother of James and Carol, and a loving gran to her grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Fortified by the rites of the Holy Catholic Church. RIP reception and vigil at Holy Family and St Ninian's RC Church on Tuesday, November 8th at 6:30 p.m. Funeral Mass on Wednesday, November 9th at 10 a.m. and thereafter to Carrer Cemetery. In Memoriam. Henderson, William. In loving memory of William, who passed away on October 30th, 2021. A loving husband of Margaret, dear dad to Billy and granddad to Matthew and Lewis. Sadly missed by his loving family.
Holyrood View with Rona Mackay, MSP. MSP says it's time to call a general election. Many of my constituents cannot afford to heat their homes. Many are struggling to afford even the most basic foods, with prices for essential items rising by as much as a staggering 65%. Food banks are busier than ever, and that will increase as we get further into winter. Who would have thought that in 2022 people could not afford to eat? Yet, as I write this, we are bracing ourselves for what is almost certain to be another round of brutal austerity cuts, forced on us by a Tory government we did not vote for, and another Prime Minister in whom we have had no say. Rishi Sunak is the UK's latest PM, the third in 2 months. The situation in Westminster is beyond farcical, yet is impacting on us all. Sunak's Chancellor Jeremy Hunt's Crunch Budget Plan is set to be released on November the 17th, which delays the Scottish Government's budget and makes it difficult to plan ahead. This is a tale of two governments. The Scottish Government has doubled the Scottish child payment to £25 per child under 16. There's also £260 to eligible families as an extension of the child payment. The SNP government is striving to help in the cost of living crisis, despite being on an ever-reducing fixed budget by Westminster. My ministerial colleagues Amy Callaghan, Stuart MacDonald and I held a very successful cost of living event in Kirkintilloch last week. Assisted by fantastic third sector organisations, Citizens Advice and numerous other advice agencies, we did our best to answer the concerns and queries of the worried people. Frankly, we shouldn't have had to hold it in the first place, but I hope it was useful to all those who had attended. Elsewhere, it has been great to get back to visiting schools, nurseries and organisations. I attended the legendary marathon fundraising weekend by Rookie Rockstars, a terrific charity who do so much good work with young people. It's extremely clear we now need a general election to stop the Tories punishing us further with their incompetence. But more than that, we need to break out from the constant cycle of UK governments blatantly ignoring our needs, Scotland's needs, its independence, and we all deserve so much better than this. Opinion. Let's talk. The Kirkintilloch Herald letters page. Please send your letters via email to kirkyherald@jnscotland.co.uk and write letters in the subject field. Time it was made easier to spend the purple pounds in Clutter's town centre. Sir, Tuesday, November the 1st is known to many disabled people as Purple Tuesday, and the purple pound refers to the spending power of disabled people and their families. It is estimated that the number of disabled people has increased from 11.9 million in 2014 to 13.3 million in 2019. The prevalence of disability rises with age, and it is estimated that 3 in 4 in their families have walked away from a UK business, citing poor accessibility and or poor customer service. Similarly, nearly 75% of disabled online consumers will click away from a website due to inaccessibility. In the UK alone, the purple pound is worth a staggering £274 billion and is estimated to be rising by 14% per year, yet less than 10% of organisations have a targeted plan to access the disability market. This is not only a huge frustration for disabled people, but is also a huge missed opportunity for businesses in our town centre. In Kirkintilloch, many businesses are missing out on the purple pound due to the inaccessibility of the town itself, as inclusive design has never been a priority for our town planners, leaving disabled shoppers excluded, and this is a clear breach of the Equality Act 2010. The shared space experiment has failed in Kirkintilloch, just as it has elsewhere, as it clearly discriminates against disabled people, and many potential customers avoid the town due to the dangers and confusion there. Thankfully, our new council voted to reinstate the traffic lights at the busy Catherine Street junction, and we await this with great anticipation, as it will help in making our town centre safer, and will avoid the confusion faced by motorists and pedestrians. However, there are other access issues which need to be addressed. The High Street, Cowgate, is currently inaccessible to many blind, visually impaired and other disabled and elderly pedestrians due to the proliferation of cafe furniture and other street clutter. I have repeatedly asked East Dunbartonshire Council for either an unobstructed corridor along the building line or to put a perimeter screen around tables and chairs, as is done in most Costa Coffee branches. The current use of planters as segregation adds to the problem. Screening would prevent white canes becoming tangled in chairs and customers' baggage and allow the safe and social distancing navigation of the blind, visually impaired and other disabled pedestrians to access their town and support all of the businesses there. While council officers agreed to implement these changes, no action has been taken. I, on behalf of the many blind, deafblind, visually impaired and other disabled people, would be grateful if readers would contact their local councillor to support us in accessing our town centre in order that we can spend our money in local shops. I would also challenge Kirkintilloch Community Council, KCC, to follow their constitution in supporting the views of the local community. Yours, etc., Sandy Taylor, Chairman, the National Federation of the Blind of the UK, NFB UK, in Scotland. Rishi's Tories for the drop. Sir, when a football team plummets towards relegation, it is inevitable the club will bring in a new manager. The new manager will try to get the supporters back on board by drafting in some new faces and promoting a few young, enthusiastic second-string players, but well, crucially, get rid of the old guard who were responsible for the team being in that position in the first place. Such actions might arrest the decline or, at the very least, allow the re-energised team to go down fighting. In his first job as PM, Rishi Sunak has singularly failed to take any of these eminently sensible actions and has organised his new cabinet around those who failed under Johnson, under Truss and will fail again under Sunak. Rabb, Williamson, Coffey, Braverman, Dowden, Barclay, Sharps. All the same tired old faces and abject paucity of ideas. It is a cabinet that merely panders to the various extreme factions in the party and is also the result of favours repaid by Sunak to those who supported him. If anyone thinks the latest PM's appointment is a breath of fresh air and that he's going to shake things up for the good of the country, they need only look at this cabinet and think again. It has ensured the Tories' annihilation at the next election. In his first act as Prime Minister, Sunak has failed spectacularly. Yours, etc., D. Mitchell, by email. Please be kind to staff, says NHS GGC. Dr Scott Davidson, Deputy Medical Director for Acute Services at NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde, has issued an appeal to patients, visitors and members of the public to treat the NHS GGC staff and each other with respect in these difficult times. The appeal follows some isolated cases in recent weeks where some staff have faced unpleasant abuse in the course of their work. Dr Davidson said, "Across NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde, all our services continue to be under considerable pressure. We are aware that some patients are having to wait longer than they would expect, and that staff in our wards may not be able to spend the amount of time with patients that they would ideally like. We apologise for any frustrations and distress that this may cause. We are working hard with our HSCP colleagues, care homes, patients and families to make improvements, and our staff are supporting each other and genuinely going the extra mile to deliver the best possible person-centred care. We would like to thank all of them for their hard work and professionalism. The vast majority of our patients and visitors are behind our efforts, and we very much appreciate their patience, understanding and support. Sadly, there have been some isolated occasions where our staff have been treated with disrespect. We understand that this is a difficult time, and that being in hospital or waiting for treatment can be very stressful. However, we ask that people please think twice before directing their frustrations at staff. All people, patients, visitors and staff, deserve to be treated with respect and kindness, and we would be very grateful for your help to achieve this." Worry over the national rise. As the cost of living crisis bites for many across the UK, new figures show more than 4 in 5 households in East Dunbartonshire have at least one working age adult in employment. Last year saw the first national rise in the number of working age households without an employed adult since 2010, before rising food and energy prices, led to soaring inflation this year. The Institute for Public Policy Research said the rise in workless households is seriously concerning, especially during the rising cost of living. Office for National Statistics figures show 24,259 East Dunbartonshire households containing one or more occupants aged between 16 and 64 had at least one person in employment in 2021. It meant 83.2% of households were classed as either working, where all working adults are in employment, or mixed, with at least one working and one workless adult, down from 84.2% the year before. Across the UK, the number of workless households rose for the first time since 2010 last year from 13.7% to 14.1%. In East Dunbartonshire, just 4,884 households, 16.8%, had no working age occupants in employment last year. Rachel Statham, Associate Director for Work and Welfare State at the IPPR, said, "It's seriously concerning to see a rise in workless households as our cost of living crisis deepens this winter, and it's clear that urgent action is needed to keep people in the workforce as living costs soar." Ms Statham also highlighted the high rate of sickness and ill health as a reason for the uptick in worklessness. MP writes to Royal Mail boss. Amy Callaghan MP has called on the Royal Mail to stop the threats of job cuts to valued postal workers and engage meaningfully with the Communications Workers Union to find an acceptable solution to prevent further postal strikes. In a joint letter to the Chief Executive Officer of Royal Mail, the East Dunbartonshire MP told the Royal Mail chief that it is unacceptable to see the language employed by the Royal Mail in threatening its workforce with job losses because they dared to ask for a fair work package. Postal workers across East Dunbartonshire were on strike again on Wednesday the 26th of October, with several more days planned from the 2nd to 4th of November. Last week, the Royal Mail announced its intention to slash 10,000 jobs, citing the strike action and low parcel delivery sales as the reason. Ms Callaghan has slammed this as a tactic in the ongoing pay dispute with postal workers and accused Royal Mail of acting in bad faith. Commenting, Amy said, "Postal workers across East Dunbartonshire are struggling to make ends meet in the face of the cost of living crisis. All the while, Royal Mail shareholders enjoyed millions of pounds in bumper profits. It's no surprise that postal workers find it hard to believe there isn't money for them to have a fair wage. Shareholders can't expect to benefit while workers shoulder the burden, particularly when it's hard-working postal staff that are struggling to put food on their table. Royal Mail staff in East Dunbartonshire deserve financial security. The decision to strike will not have been easy for any of them, but this is about more than just pay." Prizes to be won by binning litter. A new weekly prize draw is encouraging behaviour change and offering rewards to people who bin litter. Environmental charity Keep Scotland Beautiful is partnering with Litter Lotto, the behaviour change app, to encourage more people to bin their litter. Launched this week, the partnership encourages people to do the right thing by offering those taking a photograph of their waste being binned using the Litter Lotto app a chance to win a weekly prize pot ranging from £50 to £500. Recent polling by Keep Scotland Beautiful shows that 2/3 of people believe that litter is an issue in their local area, and 87% believe that it is an issue across Scotland. Barry Fisher, Chief Executive of Keep Scotland Beautiful, said, "We are delighted to be launching this innovative partnership with Litter Lotto. Initiatives like this can play a huge role in changing behaviours through positive reinforcement. Rewarding people for doing the right thing is as important as fining people for doing the wrong thing, and we look forward to seeing the results of this approach. Many people carry a smartphone, so we hope that everyone will take the opportunity to participate in Scotland's Litter Lotto. Have fun, win a prize, and help us tackle litter. By celebrating those who do the right thing and working together, we can all play a part to clean up Scotland and keep it beautiful." David Landsberg, founder and chief executive of Litter Lotto, added, "We are proud to be partnering with Keep Scotland Beautiful, an organisation that's consistently pushing the boundaries to improve the environment. Their appetite to adopt new methods and technological to address age-old issues is what makes the Litter Lotto partnership a perfect fit. We are looking forward to working with them to create an even cleaner Scotland." The Litter Lotto app is available to download for free on the App Store and Android Store. visit the Litter Lotto website www.litterlotto.com for more information. Childline launches campaign to help children at risk of sexual exploitation. Childline has seen counselling sessions with children in Scotland about child sexual abuse and exploitation increased by almost a fifth in the past year. New analysis by the NSPCC of Childline data reveals that 251 counselling sessions were delivered on this topic in 2020-21, and this increased to 299 sessions in 2021-22, a rise of 19%. The charity is revealing this data as its Childline service launches the Full Story campaign to encourage more children and teenagers at risk of or suffering sexual exploitation to use Childline for immediate confidential help. Over the last year, Childline has heard from thousands of young people about sexual exploitation, with some being manipulated into performing sexual activities after being given money, drugs, or love and affection. Others have been sexually exploited after being trafficked from their home. The Full Story campaign has created a series of short films showing 5 different scenarios of sexual exploitation. In one of the films, a 15-year-old is standing outside a party with her boyfriend. She is plied with alcohol by her older boyfriend, who later says she owes him and tells her to have sex with his friends. Adonai Alaid, Childline Scotland Service Head, said, "Often, when children describe what is happening in their relationship, they don't realise they are being groomed and abused. Our counsellors have heard from children who have said they didn't realise what they experienced in a relationship or friendship was wrong until they were much older. And some said at the time they thought their abuser was someone they could trust. Others said they thought that they were to blame for what had happened and were scared about what would happen if they did speak out. This is why this campaign is so important. It's essential that all children and young people have an awareness of this issue and know that no matter what the circumstances are, sexual exploitation is never in a child's fault, and there are people like Childline who can help. Find out more about the Full Story at www.childline.org.uk. Date Wednesday the 2nd of November 2022. District News, General. Holyrood View, The Green Party Gathers Strength, by Ross Greer, MSP. The ongoing disaster of Tory rule at Westminster has reached new levels of catastrophe in recent weeks, and people across Scotland have had enough. One poll this month showed the Scottish Greens edge ahead of the Scottish Conservatives and take the title of third largest party, and another showed that it wasn't an outlier, with the Greens a whisker away from third again. This wasn't just down to the collapse in the Tory vote. Support for the Scottish Greens is also surging, and it is a response to the impact we are having as part of the Scottish Government, such as free bus travel for young people and a freeze on rent prices over winter. The First Minister may have caused some of the UK's more sensitive journalists and Tory politicians in mock outrage when she described how much she detests the Conservative Party, but she was speaking for the vast majority of Scottish people. The Tory Party exists to make the rich richer and keep the poor poor, and the departure of Liz Truss will change none of this. They introduced a 2-child cap and the rape clause, forcing those who have survived the trauma of rape and had a child as a result to then relive that trauma to a stranger before they can access child benefit if they've already had 2 or more children. That is truly detestable. They've ramped up the sanctions regime for those who need to access to social security benefits. Missing appointments because your bus was delayed could see you go without any support for weeks, a policy which has seen a surge in people driven to use food banks. Overseas, the Tories have handed billions of pounds of weapons over to truly wicked regimes such as the Saudi monarchy, whose bombing campaign in Yemen has killed tens of thousands of innocent people and resulted in a famine of biblical proportions. Scotland didn't vote for this, but the Tories have blocked our democratic right to escape by becoming an independent country, something most people here did vote to have a say over when they elected a majority of MSPs last year on manifestos of proposing a referendum. Was the First Minister's language really the outrageous thing, or was it the horrendous levels of actual harm the Conservatives have deliberately inflicted on the most vulnerable? And that was the Holyrood View by Ross Greer, MSP. Royalty visits Seagull Trust. Everyone was delighted when Princess Anne paid a visit to the Kirkintilloch branch of the Seagull Trust. As a royal patron, Her Highness was recommissioning the Marian Seagull to be used as a dayboat, having been converted from a holiday boat by a dedicated team of volunteers from the engineering team of the Seagull Trust. Her Royal Highness met with the branch committee and engineering team and chatted with members throughout her visit. She then boarded the boat, where she met and chatted with guests from the Erskine Park Home for Ex-Servicemen. A commemorative plaque was unveiled before a short sail on the newly recommissioned boat. Antiquities Society. The next meeting of the Kirkintilloch and District Society of Antiquities will be on Thursday, November the 3rd, in the Park Centre at 7:30 p.m, when we will have a presentation from local writer David McVeigh on David Gray, The Evidence. David Gray, the Kirkintilloch poet, was born in the town in 1838 and died there in 1861. Visitors welcome. Cat foster carers. The Scottish SPCA is urgently appealing for cat foster carers in the Glasgow area. Anyone interested in applying can do so via the Scottish SPCA website. Heart of the matter, Dr. Frank Dunn. I never cease to be thankful for my 52 years as a doctor. The death of my youngest sister Jo at the age of 32 from cancer was a source of great sadness to the family, and especially for her husband and 2-year-old son. My sister produced a series of tapes made available to her son on his 21st birthday. The first tape began with the words, "What should I tell you?" and this became the title of a book. I will be delivering seminars for medical students on the principle of clinical assessment, and it brought me to mind the question, what should I tell you? Much of what I will tell the students relates to how to take a history and examine the patient. However, this will be intertwined with how to care for the patient. Kindness is the vital ingredient in caring for patients. I asked the students to imagine they are visiting their doctor with the prospect of having a serious illness. How would they feel? There will be anxiety, possibly fear they may have difficulty articulating their symptoms. The early part of assessment should comprise general questions and try and relax the patient. Listening attentively is vital. There are numerous symptoms to check, but focus should initially be on what is known as the presenting complaint. This should be thoroughly assessed, as often the key to diagnosis lies in what the patient tells you. The acronym SOCRATES, SOCRATES, is a help in remembering the key aspects of pain site, on-site, character, radiation, associated symptoms, timing, exacerbating and relieving factors, and severity. One of the key questions relates to whether the symptoms are progressing in duration and severity. This usually points us to the presence of a significant illness. The history taker inquires about a whole range of possible symptoms, lifestyle issues, family history, social history, medications, allergies, past medical history, and hopefully a differential diagnosis will emerge. The tendency to rush the history should be avoided, as often the answer lies in a thorough history. The examination of the patient does not follow the history. It starts from the moment the patient walks into the room. Much can be learned from the patient's demeanour. Despite all the negativity around healthcare at present, these students are preparing for a most rewarding and privileged profession.
Public notices. East Dunbartonshire Council Public Notices. East Dunbartonshire Licensing Board, Licensing Scotland Act 2005. East Dunbartonshire Licensing Board is reviewing its Statement of Licensing Policy. The Statement of Licensing Policy will set out the policy on which the Licensing Board will base its decisions on how it regulates the sale of alcohol in East Dunbartonshire. The Statement on Licensing Policy will be published by November 2023 and will apply until 2028, unless replaced by another Statement of Licensing Policy. In order to inform the new Statement of Licensing Policy, the Board is carrying out an initial informal consultation between October 2022 and January 2023 to obtain a range of views as to what should be included in the new policy. Following the drafting of the new Statement of Licensing Policy, a formal consultation, as required by the Licensing Scotland Act 2005, will be carried out on the new draft statement of licensing policy. It is anticipated this formal consultation will take place in the summer of 2023. Members of the public are invited to make comments on the statement of licensing policy, including any changes you believe should be made for the new policy. Full details of the consultation, including topics of particular interest to the board, can be found at www.eastdunbarton.gov.uk/licensing-policy-2022. Civic Government Scotland Act 1982. Application for renewal of public entertainment licence. The undernoted has applied for the renewal of a public entertainment licence in terms of the above Act. Name and address of applicant: Campsie Memorial Hall Trust, 2 Main Street, Lennoxtown, G66 7HA. Day-to-day manager: Rose Strachan, 14 Glazert Park Drive, Lennoxtown, G66 7EY. Type of entertainment: discos, concerts, birthday parties, expeditions, communions, weddings, keep fit classes, group/individual hire by community. Dates and times of operation: Monday to Sunday, 9 a.m. to midnight. Any objections or representations in terms of paragraph 3 brackets 1 of Schedule 1 of the Act should be logged with the undernoted no later than 28 days from the publication date of the newspaper in which this advertisement appears. Deputy Chief Executive, Education, People and Business, East Dunbartonshire Council, 12 Strathkelvin Place, Kirkintilloch, G66 1TJ. Civic Government Scotland Act 1982. Application for renewal of second-hand vehicle dealer licence. The undernoted has applied for the renewal of a second-hand vehicle dealer licence in terms of the above Act. Name and address of applicant: Haston Garage Limited, 54 to 56 Kilsyth Road, Kirkintilloch, G66 1QQ. Day-to-day manager: Andrew Ross, 6 Seath Avenue, Langbank, Renfrewshire, PA14 6PD. Premises: Haston Garage, 54 to 56 Kilsyth Road, Kirkintilloch, G66 1QQ. Days and hours of trading: Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. until 6 p.m, Saturdays, 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. Sundays by appointment only, 12 noon till 5 p.m. Bank holidays closed. Any objections or representations in terms of paragraph 3 brackets 1 of Schedule 1 of the Act should be logged with the undernoted no later than 28 days from the publication date of the newspaper in which this advertisement appears. Deputy Chief Executive, Education, People and Business, East Dunbartonshire Council, 12 Strathkelvin Place, Kirkintilloch, G66 1TJ. Civic Government (Scotland Act 1982. Application for change of details to late hours catering licence. The undernoted has applied for a change of details to incorporate a change of day-to-day manager, as noted below, to their late hours catering licence in terms of the above Act. Name and address of applicant: Shell UK Oil Productions Limited, Shell Centre, London, SE1 7NA. Premises: Shell Westermains, 31 Glasgow Road, Kirkintilloch, G66 1BG. Day-to-day manager: Hassan Khan, 38 Curley-Bray, Livingston, EH546UG. Director details: Norman Can, 38 Curlew-Bray, Livingston, EH546UG. Hours of business: Monday to Sunday, 11 p.m. until 5 a.m. Any objections or representations in terms of paragraph 3 brackets 1 of Schedule 1 of the Act should be logged with the undernoted no later than 28 days from the publication date of the newspaper in which this advertisement appears. Deputy Chief Executive, Education, People and Business, East Dunbartonshire Council, 12 Strathkelvin Place, Kirkintilloch, G66 1TJ. Members' surgeries. Councillors' arrangements for interviewing residents. Ward 7, Kirkintilloch, East and North and Twecker. Stuart MacDonald. 9th of November, The Hub, William Patrick Library, Service Room 1. 5:30 p.m. until 6 p.m. 9th of November, Hearstains Huts, 6:15 p.m. until 6:45 p.m. Between surgeries, councillors can be contacted at the Members Support Unit on 0300 12345 10. That number again is 0300 12345 10. Planning applications. TP/ED/22/0600. 1 Coxdale Avenue, Kirkintilloch, East Dunbartonshire, G66 1AR. Replacement of 2 roof light windows. Section 65, affecting CA, 21 days. TP/ED/22/0685. 5 Grove Park, Lenzie, East Dunbartonshire, G66 5AH. Erection of garden room with rear garden. Section 65, affecting CA, 21 days. The application plans and other documents can be viewed online through the Council's website. The current restrictions on non-essential office work associated with the coronavirus pandemic means that plans cannot be viewed in Council offices as normal. Written comments may be made within the above period to the Council through the Council's website or to the above address. Any representations will be treated as public documents and made available for inspection by interested parties and may also be published on the Council's website. Traffic notices. North Lanarkshire Council, Town and Country Planning (Scotland Act 1997) as amended. Town and Country Planning, Development Planning, Scotland Regulations. Notice of North Lanarkshire Local Development Plan adoption. Further to the Notice of Intention to Adopt of March 2022, the Scottish Ministers have confirmed, after due consideration, that the Council can proceed to adopt the North Lanarkshire Local Development Plan. The plan duly became operative on the 6th of July 2022 and will be formally published on the 2nd of November 2022. Please note that legislation affords no opportunity to make further representations. Aggrieved parties may seek to challenge only points of process and law to the Court of Session. Paper copies of the plan are not being made generally available beyond a reference copy at Civic Centre, Motherwell, and at each of the Council libraries. However, the plan and all other relevant materials are available on the Council's website on this page, www.northlan, that's northlan.gov.uk/next plan. That's NEXTPLAN. Rob Roy Need to Be Better. Written by Brian Newell and read by myself, Corey. Stuart Maxwell had no complaints as Rob Roy were knocked out of the Scottish Junior Cup by Arthurlie. The Barhead side ran out 3-1 winners at Guy's Meadow in the match that saw the home side reduced to 9 men. A Gary Carroll header opened the scoring for Arthurlie in the second half. They went 2 up when Jordan Leyden saw his penalty saved by Kevin McAllister, but tucked away the rebound. Aaron Healy made it 3-0 before Rob Roy pulled one back when Connor Hughes forced the ball over the line. Any hopes of a comeback were dashed when Robbie Young was sent off and Derek McNabb also saw red. Maxwell told the club's YouTube channel, quote, "We had a lot of phases of play and chances, but we didn't look quite at it. Arthurlie set up with a system and worked their way into the game. They utilised their pace in the wide areas and that caught us for 2 of the goals. Overall, I've actually no complaints about the result. I'm just disappointed about the way we went about our performance." The two sides meet again at Guy's Meadow on Saturday, this time in the WOS Premier League. Maxwell said, "It's a different day. We've got to be better and a wee bit more clinical at the end of the pitch." Petershill are also out of the cup after a 3-2 defeat at home to Carnoustie Panmure. The away side took the lead on 27 minutes as Jamie Winter free kick from the left side deceived Steve McNeil. It took just 2 minutes for an equaliser to arrive as Dale Hepburn's cross was fired into the net by Eddie Ferns. On 35 minutes, the home side took the lead as Hepburn played in Jordan Shelvey to roll the ball past Panmure keeper Darren Clarkson. Panmure would draw level on 81 minutes as Danny Miller scored and then won in 3 minutes from the time with a Sam Simpson penalty, as Petershill had Terry Hewitt sent off. Petershill are home to Darville in the Premier League on Saturday. Ashfield won 3-2 away to Forth Wanderers in the second division. A Craig Young goal put the away side ahead before a Greg Burns double put them 3 up. Forth hit back through Stephen Frame and Darren Walker, but Ashfield held on. In the same league, Glasgow Pershore came from 2 down to win 3-2 at home to Wishaw. David Kirkwood was the hero as he grabbed a hat-trick in the last 10 minutes. Ashfield are at home to Maryhill on Saturday. Pershore host Renfrew and Rossvale travel through to Gort Cairn. West Park United won 2-1 at home to Thrieve United in the 4th Division. Stefan Graham gave them the lead after just 3 minutes, but an own goal drew the visitors level before Jamie Dodsworth hit the winner. West Park are away to BCS Glasgow on Saturday, while Rossvale Academy are at home to Kilsyth Athletic. That article written by Brian Yule. Dutch stars passed on their knowledge. An article written by Brian Yule. Professional players Sabrina van der Sloot and Thomas Lucas from the Netherlands were the stars of the Kirkintilloch and Kilsyth ASC water polo camp. Over 50 youngsters from across Scotland came together at the Tollcross International Swimming Centre for the camp, which focused on the key aspects of water polo techniques, drills, shooting and game tactics. Over 2 days, players took part in extensive water polo sessions in the 50-metre competition pool, and video analysis of top matches in the lecture theatre, with Olympian van der Sloot and Lucas taking the players through a step-by-step analysis of the key points in the games. The Dutch duo travelled to Glasgow fresh from playing in the World and European Water Polo Championships, where van der Sloot won the World Championship bronze medal. Their extensive water polo knowledge and experience made van der Sloot and Lucas ideal experts to coach the eager young minds of the players, and on Sunday afternoon the coaches became the team captains and took part in games with the players. Creating time on the ball, finding the right pass, and shooting high into the corners of the goal were all part of their armoury, and allowed the players to see world-class water polo close up. At the end of the camp, the coaches held an award ceremony, recognising the excelling effort, attitude and coachability of the players, with Van der Sloot and Lucas awarding signed Olympic kit, swimming caps and water polo balls. Camp manager Alan Scooby said, "We have all been incredibly fortunate and grateful to have our water polo camp coached by Thomas and Sabrina, who were generous with both their time and their knowledge, and I would like to thank them on behalf of everyone involved." Coach Nico Fenu added, "Seeing the young players in the pool working hard and playing water polo together with Sabrina and Thomas is something I will never forget. It felt like both a dream come true and a vision for the future." National Under-18 women's coach Neil Rayner said, "This was the water polo equivalent of having Megan Rapone and Neymar deliver a football camp on Scotland's juniors. Everyone gets excited and coaches listen carefully." The players also provided feedback, with Chloe Kirkwood saying, "I think it was an incredible opportunity to meet such high-achieving players. Just the fact that they imparted their knowledge on us was incredible." With feedback from the camp being overwhelmingly positive, planning is well underway for another in early 2023. Scooby thanked all of the other parties involved in the camp. He said, "Bringing such a high level of camp to Glasgow has been an incredible team effort with the National Lottery Community Fund and West District's swimming committing funds. Glasgow Life providing substantial pool time, Scottish Swimming and Sport Scotland supporting the endeavour, all of the clubs from across Scotland for supporting the camp, the parents and players for signing up, and for the effort of all the players." That article written by Brian Yule. Late goal sees off Celtic. Glasgow City brought Celtic's 100% record in the SWPL 1 to an end as they maintained their own. It looked as if both sides were going to precious points at Petershill Park, with Rangers continuing their flawless record with a 5-0 win over Dundee United. However, in the final minute, City captain Hayley Lauder took advantage of the panic in the Celtic defence to score the winner. A Lauren Davidson penalty gave the home side the lead on 51 minutes after a foul on Emily Whelan. Celtic equalised on 76 minutes when substitute Shen Menglu's cross found its way into the net. City look to book their place in the Sky Sports Cup final on Sunday when they host Hibs.
Thank you for listening to this week's Kirkintilloch Herald podcast, brought to you by Q Review, print speaking to the blind. If you've any feedback, you're welcome to call us on 0141 772 3976. If you enjoyed this recording, feel free to subscribe to our channel.